everyone, thank you so much for watching. My name is Tiffany. Welcome to Everything in Tea. That is my new kitty cat. This is Nico. Yes, I know Nico is the Japanese word for cat, but that's his name. He's kind of hanging out right there. I'm hoping he doesn't jump down because I'm actually in my living room. We're going to be doing a painting project today, but it's kind of odd. The idea came to me and I thought I'm just going to go with it. So that's why the background's all different and everything. And yeah, so we're going to jump right into today's project and show. So this is going to be tea is what we're going to jump into first. Well, we're not actually jumping into tea. That would be, I don't have a pool of tea to jump into, first of all. I wonder if we could do that though. I wonder if we could do like, see, chamomile and lavender is both common, so I'm wondering if we could actually put lavender tea bags or chamomile tea bags in a bath and be calming and relaxing. I don't know. Oh, but anyway, the tea today, it's actually from Bigelow. Of course, Bigelow is a family-ran business. They've been in business for years. This is their Peak Energy. This is a black tea. It supports sustained clarity and focus, which whenever, if you know me, I need a lot of that sometimes. It's got alkaline and caffeine. So this is what the little tea bag looks like. I don't like this camera setup, but that's okay. It'll work for this. So the reason why I'm in my living room, I like bigger projects in the living room for some reason. But this tea I've never actually tried before. This is a day of first. I've never tried this type of painting. I've never tried this tea before. So you're just going to like do it all with me, so to speak. So I haven't even tried this tea yet. I do have it in my cute little of course Dragon Con was this past weekend. Star Trek cup, you know, to boldly go where no man has gone before, which kind of matches the fact that I'm doing everything new today. I've never tried this tea. The scent is waking up. It's not citrus or anything like that that you would think of whenever you think of teas or scents that would wake you up. Tastes like a regular black tea to me. Yeah, I think it's just a regular black tea with alkaline and caffeine in it. And yeah, I do like it. Yeah, I mean it's a black tea. It's helped me sustain my focus and clarity, and let's see if it works with this painting because I need all the help I can get. Okay, so let's talk about this painting. This painting is kind of different. I say that because the idea came to me whenever a certain particular statement was made to me. The idea of paint your face. So the idea of painting your face comes from, of course, the cosmetic beauty world. And I thought, if you can paint your face, can you paint a canvas with the same products? So today we're going to be painting with not paint, not watercolors, oil paints, acrylic paints, or anything like that. No, we're going to be painting with, we'll be using some makeup. So bear with me now. This sounds crazy, I know. But I've got a lot of cosmetics, and this is a lot of the reason why I actually am in here, is because I needed a lot of space. That corner there's a mess. That's over the TV. That actually is a lot of so embarrassing. That actually is Legos and my Xbox, PlayStation, all that stuff over there on the TV. Anyway, so, oh yeah, and a lamp. And so, anyway, the painting for this came from the idea of paint your face. I don't know if this is going to work. I've never tried this before. However, because I chose such a large, actually it's the only one I had at the time. So you'll need canvas. So, you know, this size of canvas, this is an 8x10. Why I decided to do a painting I've never done before on such a large canvas, I don't know. So I've got 8x10 canvas. Let me set that out of the way. So the first thing I did, and as you all can tell, we got plenty of makeup. I've got my just regular paint brushes. I've also got some water, just in case I wanted to use them. So I can't set this over here without knocking anything else off. Oh, we'll set that back there for now. So I don't need that. Oh, stay up. Please stay up. We've also got some tissues. I've got some powder puffs, Q-tips, paper towels, some sponges, and of course we've got an assortment of already used, old, or even, I do have some new ones that's just in the wrapper. Whether or not I use them, I do not know, of cosmetic brushes here. So, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to see if any of this stuff works. I've got plenty of things to try if something doesn't work. So the first part of this I actually started already because it was such a large, huge undertaking of an idea. So when you're thinking about painting, you can do things like get your canvas ready. So I kind of applied that idea to this by using a Refi. This is actually from the brand Refi, and this is actually a face primer. I really do like it. I think it's a great face primer, first of all and foremost. And so I primed the canvas, and then I'm using something called Doomdust. This is actually a makeup product, cosmetic product. It is from Lashy Doodle. Great brand, great company, and it's just black. You know, like if you're going to like a gothic night and you want to black out your neck, this is the stuff that's great for that. I have actually used this for a smoky eye. I used it to calm down. I actually had some really, I thought I had it over here, maybe I don't. I had this really super neon pink colored blush. When you put it on, it's like way neon pink. It's like too much pink for this girl here, which is kind of sad. So I actually dabbed a little bit on my finger and put a little bit on there and put the pink blush over that, blended it in. It blends really well. Therefore, it tamed down that blush look that I was going for. So, these are the first two products being used. And this is nothing against any cosmetic products that I've got here or anything I'm going to be using today. I use a lot of cosmetics because I do a lot of reviews, as you all can see. I do a lot of unboxings, things like that. I've yet to find really horrible cosmetics that I've received that I don't like or that hasn't worked for me. Like I said, this is an experiment. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it'll be fun trying it out. I have worked in special effects for haunted houses. I have worked in teaching art classes. I do cosplay. Halloween costumes. I mean, theater, anything like that I have done. So I figure this could actually be kind of a really neat and cool, different idea. I like experimenting with art. I am an artist, so of course I like to experiment with art. So, with that being said, the very first thing I did was I took some primer. Where did I right in front of my face? So all I did was I took a little wedge like this, little wedge applicator sponge, cheapy type kind. Which, I mean, I like these. They actually have like a little rivet in them. Whoops. That you can actually tear them apart or cut them apart if you need to. And this is kind of a neat primer because this is actually a rolling on primer. So it'll come out like so. And you roll it on. I know I've showed you all this primer before, but I just want to show you all again. So all I did was I squirted some of this primer onto my sponge like so, or you could actually do it onto the canvas. Let me put this up. Okay, get rid of that now. Now, I've already done some of this on the canvas after I primed it. So I wanted the primer to set a little bit. So this top part of this is all I did. I literally, like, just put the primer on it. That's all. Just to get it ready. And then I let it dry. And you didn't even need that much. So that was the nice part about it. I don't have a garbage can. Removed everything but a garbage can. Okay, we'll just set this off back there somewhere for now. So basically what I did, I just primed this area. This is what I've already done of this, actually. And as you can tell, I even switched out some of the siding on it. You know. And this is just an 8x10 canvas. So the next step that we did, and if you're wondering about the Refi primer, don't worry about it. I'm going to take all the cosmetic stuff that I use. I'm going to put down below with the links what cosmetics I used and the links to them. Because, first of all, I don't want, this is nothing against cosmetics at all. This is just an experiment, a fun experiment I thought would be fun to paint with. I'm really liking this tea, by the way. I like it so much. I'm going to set it over here out of the way. So I can drink it and not worry about it. Now, the fact that I did use a primer. I mean, I've got another primer here. Actually, I think I've got 3 over here. I've got one from ELF, Blemish Control Face Primer. I decided to use the Refi Primer. I've got a Volition Snow Mushroom Water Primer. This sounds really interesting to me, but I'm worried that I might be allergic to it. But, I mean, I put it on a small part of my arm and I wasn't. This one also has vitamin C, so it will give you a little bit of glow. So, enough about primers. Remove all of this over somewhere else for the time being. I'm going to set that right back there, out of my way. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to move the camera now because you all will be able to see better that way if I do. Did I already get black stuff on me? I probably did. Oh well. Oh, goodness sakes. Okay, bear with me while I try to maneuver this camera onto down. Okay, there we go. That's my air purifier. Alrighty. So we have got this canvas here. Okay? So the Lashy Doodle. Lashy Doodle's fantastic. This stuff, like I said before, I've used it to do a smoky eye with. I've used it for cosmetic stuff. I've used it, well, for special effects cosmetic stuff. I've used it for Halloween. Cosplay it's fantastic for. Goth night, emo night, anything like that. This is the stuff you want. It is called Doomdust. This one here is a black color. Fantastic pigment, as you all can tell already. So let the primer dry for a little bit, and now we're just going to take one of these little sponges again, and you're just going to take the sponge. You're going to just, like, this is literally like all I did on this. All I did was put it literally like on there and wipe it down. This is all I've done on this, okay? So what we are going to be making, we're going to be making a moon. I chose a moon. I thought that would be something interesting and fun to do, especially with it going into fall and Halloween season. And this can be even a nice little fun project for Summerween. And speaking of Summerween, Realher actually has a new album called, can't remember the name of it, but it's fantastic. And he is just somebody who is always fun and exciting. He's really big into the Summerween. So this is all you're doing. I'm trying to get this part covered up there that's really, really super duper light, because I want it to be like a nighttime sky, like a pitch black sky. And there we go. I'm going to lift it up some. I'm just going to do a little bit along the edge here. And as you all can tell, it didn't take a lot of product once it's on the sponge, it just sort of like goes in and blends out really, really well. There we go. Okay. So that's the first thing you do. You put the primer on, you know, and then you let it set. And then you just paint on the black. So let me set that down somewhere. I'm going to grab a tissue ball back there. So that was the Lashy Doodle Doom Dust that I used right there. So we're going to place that off to the side. The next thing I thought about was using something to make like stars in the background. So for that, I've actually got a couple of different ideas to use and to run through. So we're just going to use a variety of it. I ain't real sure what I want. I'm not sure exactly what's going to work and what isn't going to work. So I've got a variety of products that we can have fun with and play with on it. The first one is, give me 1 second here. I don't know who this is by. This is from Wet&Wild. This is the Fantasy Makers glitter gel. And, you know, I like Wet&Wild products occasionally. So this is what it looks like. And the only thing I've got with this packaging is they wrote the Wet&Wild glitter gel in white. So against white glitter, you can barely read what it actually says. That's why I had to get a light to figure it out and magnify it some. So the Wet and White, I thought this would be good. Maybe. Actually, you could actually use the sponge with this stuff too. This is great. This I've used, and I didn't really use this for Halloween or anything, because it is the Fantasy Makers line, which comes out mainly at Halloween. I did not use this at Halloween. I actually used this for Bonnaroo and for what do you call it? Elements, and I use it for music festivals. Okay, people, that is what I've used it for. I've used it for that because that to me is more fun than using glitter at Halloween. Although I do like to use glitter at Halloween. So it is a little bit of a thicker gel. So what we're going to do, we're just going to do this. We're just going to squirt some out. And remember, it does have a gel background, so it's probably going to look a little bit glossier on the plain black matte that you've created. But we're just going to put a little bit on there. I've also got some other glitter to use as well. That is a face glitter for everything. So all I'm doing is that I'm just squirting some on here to get the glitter out. And we're just going like that on it. Now, like I said, the reason why I started this project was, first of all, it's an 8x10 project. Why on earth the very first thing I decided to use an 8x10, I do not know. And I will tell you, sometimes these little squeeze tubes like this of glitter will get clogged up. So sometimes this part takes a little bit longer. There we go. And we're going to open. This is actually just some glitter that I've got. I use this at, it's body glitter basically. You can use, these are fantastic to be used at music festivals, Halloween, anything like that. And so I thought that could be fun to add along with that. And this is actually a more of a bluish color of glitter. I thought that would be neat just to add in. Kind of got this little galaxy theme going on here along the edge at the very top here. And as you can tell, I'm using the square part of this, and all I'm doing is just tapping away on top of that glitter glue. Okay, now the nice thing about the glitter, you can do this all over and tap it afterwards. See? So we're just doing basically the background in a spacey type of a feeling. You know, and it doesn't take a whole lot, as you all can tell. I've still got plenty of this stuff in here. I'm not using that much. I don't want to over glitterize it because I want the moon to be the main focus. Of course, if you want to do just a galaxy picture, you can use as much or as little as you want to. But so far, I'm actually really impressed as to how well this idea is working. So, that's kind of impressive. So, and if you don't want to do a moon, you don't have to do a moon. You can do a sunshine. You can do whatever you want, whatever your heart's desire is. Like I said, the moon was just something that popped in my mind with it being summerween time, with us going into fall. So that's that. So let me put the little cap on this glitter and set it off to the side. I do not know who makes this glitter though. That's the one thing about it. I've got like 2 other kinds over here. It is a body glitter. That's all I can remember about it. This here, of course, is the Fantasy Makers from Wet&Wild glitter gel. I will put that over there as well. Now, watch this. We're just going to tap. We're going to get all the excess off from there. Okay. Ta-da! Now you can either do it long ways or sideways. I think I'm going to do it sideways because I kind of like that. And I kind of like this strip up here being at the very top. So I'm going to flip that around like that. Now, I have got these little Wet&Wild. They're color icons. This one is called Spiked. It's more of a silver, shinery, creamy like glitter. This one is called Bleached, and it's more of a white type of a glitter. Okay. I've also got a all over glitter palette. This is from Almar, A-L-M-A-R-K. Yeah. A-L-M-A-R-M-A-R-K. Anyway, as you can tell, it's got black, silver, red, a little bit of a copperish color down here on the end. I'm mainly going to focus on these 2 colors and maybe some red. So we're going to open up all of these next. And remember, this is stuff that I've been using here and there over the past 2 years. Well, less than 2 years, probably about year and a half. Now for this, I'm actually going to be using a brush. Don't know which brush I want to use though. I think I'm going to go with this one. Yeah. I am not going to wet it or anything. I'm just going to see how it does. So we're going to start off with the spiked Wet&Wild spiked color. That's what it looks like when it goes on to the brush. And we're just going to, we're just going to paint stripes down. And we're going to leave some room. So as you can tell, it is leaving a little bit of a, and maybe you want a little bit in the middle there just to brighten it up some on each end, because I'm trying to leave enough room to make the moon. So I'm not going to be doing this all over with the silver, just on the end marks with the silver, a little bit in the middle, you know, and yeah, so there we go. So that was spiked from that, and we're gonna go to the white now. The nice part about it, you always want something like today. I normally have a because it's just a white basic. It's actually I bought for camping, but it turned out to be my craft table because I liked it better. I liked it better for crafts, especially for resin and for clay. I can really spread out more. So the next thing we are going to be using is this Wet&Wild color icon. This is the bleached, of course. This is the white glitter. And this is more of a creamy formula. And I'm just going to use that same brush. And like I said before, this has more of an iridescent color than the silver. The silver is just a bright chrome type of a silver color. And this one has a bit of an iridescent feel to it. So whenever you move it around, everything's going to be sparkly. So, and that's kind of like the nighttime sky with all the little stars, planets, galaxies, what have you in it, type of an idea. And like I said, I'm actually really surprised at how well this stuff is actually staying on this canvas, actually, to be honest. You can even like do a little star type of a thing up there in the corner if you want. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is art. I don't like perfect art. I think art is the only thing in my life that I don't want to be perfect. Relationships, everything like that, work, I like to be perfect on. When it comes to art, I'm like, whatever goes, goes. So, some people think this is crazy. That's fine. I don't mind. I'm just going to wipe my brush off. Now remember, this is one of my old brushes, so instead of throwing it away, I've decided to use it for an art project. That's all. So, usually whenever I have an old makeup brush and I'm done using it, I usually put it in with my paint stuff, just in case I ever want to use something, a little bit of a different type of a bristle. We're going to go in with the red from this glitter, because I'm curious as to seeing how this stuff works against this black. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to use it as a pool. What I mean when I say I'm going to use it as a pool, as you can tell, all I'm doing is just pulling out a little bit from the very top. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. And I'm, like I said, this is not perfect to me. I'm not aiming for perfection with this painting. I'm aiming to see if it is possible to actually do a painting with nothing but cosmetic products. And if so, then that's fantastic. And you know what? I see a lot of these people doing a empties at the end of the month. I don't rarely ever do I ever. It usually takes me about 2 months, even on the 30-day stuff, to get rid of. I don't know if I'm using stuff wrong or what, but when it says 30 days, it usually lasts me about 2 months. So, maybe it's me. Or maybe it's the way I'm using the product. I don't really know. But I'm just kind of like doing like a nice little outline. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what are you going to do if you blend all these colors together in one thing? That is where the tissues come in. You can actually wipe off the cosmetics with tissue, the top layer off, and it should still be fine to use and wear and what have you. So that's the nice part about this, is even though it isn't perfect, you can kind of make it perfect for whatever your needs. And I think this is a fun project. I do think I'm having fun, and that's a lot of it. And the cat, I don't even know where the cat went. The cat's over there on the other little post looking out the balcony doors. So that's where the cat is now. The cat went from there over there. So yeah. And like I said, this to me is just something fun and different enough. It's going to be fun. So we have the background done. And I ain't worried about this brush because, like I said, it's an old brush. I don't even think it's got a name on it. Yeah, I've even wiped off the name off from this. I've used this makeup brush so much doing makeup. I don't even have like the name as to who put it out. But it worked really great. So thank you. So again, this was the all over glitter from Almar or Almak. I'm gonna have to make sure that I can give credit where credit is due, so it might be both. But yeah, this is fantastic. The only one I used out of this one right now is the red. Now because I used the red, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wipe off. Oh no, where I used it. I'm just gonna. There you go. See, good as new. That's all I used of it. So that way, if there's any excess on it, that's okay. So we're going to set that off to the side. Now we're going to come, hey! So remember whenever I told you all that I had this bright pink neon blush that I used, the Lashy Doodle? I actually have it right here. So it's actually 3 times brighter than what it's showing up. Okay, like this stuff is like bright, but it works really well with that. So that's the blush that I used. So I'm gonna take a drink of tea now. And the next thing, excuse me, we are going to be using a couple of different products. I want to do the outside of the moon now. I think that this is a nice little galaxy theme. What do you all think? Write down in the comments if you all like it. If you all think I'm just crazy for even trying something like this, that's fine too. And as you can tell, I do have the paper towel underneath here. Normally I'll buy a plastic, like from like Walmart or Dollar Tree or Target or something, one of those $1 plastic tablecloths to cover my table with. For this one, I'm just using, because it is makeup, and makeup I can use micellar water to clean the table with if I have to. Crazy as it sounds, that would work. So I just put down a paper towel to set the canvas on. So now we're going to move on. We're going to make the outline of the moon. I got about 3 or 4 different choices that I could do it in here. I got some Medusasmakeup. I've got some woochie silver eyeliner. I got a multi Wet&Wild stick, which actually this stuff is really fun, by the way. This white one here, I actually use it a lot for cosplay, for costuming. I'm actually going to be an Oompa Loompa for Halloween at work. So, yeah, and this has a little bit of glitter in it. So I use this and a bronzer, and I mix them together, and it makes like an orange collar for the Oompa Loompa. So, that is what I'm doing for Halloween. I may have to, I actually don't have a picture of me from last year. I did it last year too. We actually have something from beautycreations. This is a Petal Phase color base primer, and I think I'm going to use it because it's a yellow. This is one of the primers I got, and I do like it. I used it for Elements actually. Actually, I used this pink one for Elements when I was there for the outfit. So because it's got this type of a tip, and because it is cream, where did they go? Here they are. Let me pull out a, what do you call them, Q-tip. I'm trying to open it from the other side. And pull out a couple of Q-tips. I'm going to need them. So we'll set them right up here. So I'm going to do a half moon. So I'm going to start probably about right through here. I can get it to come out. There we go. I'm actually going to start out by doing a C. Okay. So we have the C done. I'll show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually take this cotton ball. Now the thing about this is that, you know, this has to be, well, it's not cotton ball, it says Q-tip, but this will have to be blended in. Okay? So in this way you can actually get most of it off like this. And then if you start making it out, it'll make the moon a lot bigger. And that's what we want. We want kind of a bigger moon going on, and make it more rounded, like around this edge here. And that's the nice thing about the Q-tips. This will be the easiest way to do that. Plus you don't have to worry about running a brush or anything like that, whether it be a cosmetic brush or even a makeup brush. See? Now like I said before, this is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. So that's one Q-tip. Another way you could do it, use your finger. But just it's a messy, fun way to do it. And all I'm doing is just doing a circular motion, kind of like what you would use if you're putting it on your eyes or on your face. So it's just all about blending. And if you're a blender, then this may be the perfect product for you. And I probably got a big old mess going on. And like I said, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what direction I'm going in. I'm just doing it and seeing what happens. So this moon's going to be kind of a oddly shaped, crazy moon. And the nice thing about using this, you could actually take some more of it off if you wanted to onto your finger if you needed more to blend in rather than using that tube again. So I think the shape is going to be more like this, and then we can point it out as we go on with different products. Okay, so we're just going to go through there, do there. So you want to get it almost blended all the way in. And of course, because see, that's what your finger's gonna look like. You can just wipe it off with a tissue. So that was from Beauty Creations. That was the yellow primer, base color yellow primer. The next item we're going to be using, where did I put it? Right over here. We're going to go in with the multi-stick. Now, the thing about a stick is, of course, we've got just that little bottom. So, we're just going to point this out some. So, if you just wanted to point it out like a moon does. Now, the other thing about a stick is the stick's going to get dirty very, very easily. And there we go. So every so often, you want to look at the end of the stick because, of course, it's going to be a little bit dirty, have little specks of dirt on it. So you can just wipe it off, just like you do regular whenever you're applying it over top of a makeup. You know, you just gotta wipe it off and let it go. Wipe it off and let it go. Let it go, let it go. I love that song. My cat likes to watch cartoon movies, so I've seen a lot of cartoon movies. One I've seen most recently has been called The Wild Robot. I highly recommend that. There's also one called Flow that is excellent. If you like animals, you will like both those movies. So this one here, we're just coming up around there. And then we're just going to go into the center of it. And we're just going to do this part too. There we go. So of course, you know, we're done with it. We're just going to wipe it off. Put the lid back on it. Set it off to the side. I am going to do something odd. I'm going to take a tissue. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off a little bit of this yellow. So you can even do this with a sponge or even with a cotton ball. And I'm just going to go through the yellow. And I'm just going to splotch. All I'm doing is splotching it, okay? Mainly because that can drag some of the yellow through. It can help the yellow dry a little bit quicker. Take some of the excess off and give it a little bit of interesting texture depending on what you're using. Okay, so from far away, okay, so from far away, this is where we're at right now, okay? We've got the basics of the moon done. Oh, I kind of like it like that with the red at the top. Because the light catches those sparkles. So that's the basics of it, okay? So now that we got the basics done, we're going to move on to more of a technique of a technical technique style. what to use. I do not know what I'm doing. Maybe use some of this golden yellow. Yeah, okay, so I've got this Illuminati quad palette. This is called Serpent. As you can tell, there's some gold and there's some green, there's some copper, orangish tone in it. And I'm going to be using probably more of the copperish tones for it again. Old makeup brush. I'm going to be using that one. And this is from Illuminati. And we're just going to go through and we're just going to splotch some. Now remember, the yellow is a primer, the little liquid primer that I used. So it will adhere to make it more like a moon. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I am just trying to splotch some. I don't want too much on there because I don't want it to be a bright yellow. I just want it enough to where you can see what it looks like. And of course you can always wipe off if you need to. Wipe off your brush. And go through it again. And this here might take a little bit. The technical part of this will probably take longer than setting it up, priming and everything else. Will it be worth it? I hope so. This is actually going to be a very long video, by the way. And in case you're wondering, this will probably be one of my longest videos up. I'm okay with that because it is a larger larger art project. Now, the thing about it is that if I was doing a project, if this is a smaller canvas, I would probably already been done. This is just the canvas I had, and like I said, this makeup here is what I've been using. Some of it I've never used again that I needed to throw out, but I was just curious as to see if this is going to work or not. This all started with just a curiosity. So there we go. And again, you can just wipe off the top part of it. So let me throw this out of the way. La 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 la. Now we do have some other art projects that I'll be putting up later on. Throughout the fall and everything. So the next one we're going to use is from a company called Woochie. This is a silver liner eyeshadow. Whatever color you'd want to call it. Whatever you want to use it for. I've used this for lip gloss. I've used it to outline lips with a cosplay. I've used it everyday use just for like a silver eyeshadow. So the question is, how do I want to use it here? And I'm wondering, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to twistle that around. I'm going to use a Q-tip to get some of it off. Yeah, this will work better if I use the Q-tip. And as you all can tell, all I'm doing is swiping it into that little tip for the moon at the top. And I ain't worried about this part of it. I can always go back in with the Lashy Doodle at the end and cover up whatever mistakes that I think needs covered up, because it is a black point product. It's a really good blendable product. So there, okay. So I'm gonna set that down to the side as well. Now, how are we gonna get this thing to glow a little bit? Whenever you want a nice little glow going on, what do you turn to? You usually turn to highlighter. OFRA highlighter, All of the Lights is what this is called. And we're going to use it. And I'm actually going to be using a newer brush that's a little bit wider, just because I can, basically. So this is what this looks like. This is just one of the little fan brushes, you know. And it's mermaid. So I'm not even gonna like stick with one color. I'm just going to brush some on and dab it on. You know, we're not even gonna like see whatever color it is. We're gonna highlight some of this outside area to make it a little bit brighter. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing I ever do is perfect as far as art goes, or at least in my opinion, it isn't perfect. I have a high standard. So all I'm doing is literally like just playing around with makeup basically. And I'm just making it to where it will be a little bit brighter, a little bit happier. And if I'm not happy with the product at the very end, it just shows me that this doesn't work. That not to paint with makeup. That's all it does. So, you know, we're gonna put some towards there. We'll put some down here on this end. And all you OFRA lovers out there, please, this is nothing against OFRA. This actually gives a really, really cool, this just shows you how good the highlighter is basically what I'm doing. Okay? So, yeah. So that was the OFRA highlight. All of the lights highlighter. And so, yeah. So, yay! So next up, we're coming right along with the little moon, aren't we? We're making it. We're getting there. So and like I said, you know, we're gonna do some fun little things to make it really more interesting. I'm actually wondering if I could. I'm thinking for a moment, so this might take me a minute because like I said before, I didn't really have everything picked out beforehand. I knew some of the colors I really wanted to use and some other colors I wasn't sure about using. So I'm kind of trying to figure it out as we go along as to what will work the best for the colors that I'm trying to find. Okay, so we're going to try this Mystical Eye Dust. This is from Medusasmakeup. Ta-da! And you know what Medusasmakeup, they asked me these little films. The films can be put back on there as well, which is apparently what I've done. So this could take me a minute. How long did it take me to get this thing off? So like I said before, you know, I'm doing just a moon. I'm actually seriously considering doing a full moon rather than just a half moon. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. Where is my yellow back? Here. We're going to do a full moon. Now, what I'm doing is that I'm just going to take about 3 different little drops. And actually, you know what? I think because I'm going to do a full moon, I will not be using this one, but I am going to go ahead and use a different Medusasmakeup product after this. So, that's okay. So, again, just a Q-tip. We're just going to wrap it around. Actually, I kind of wish I would have started out doing the larger moon anyway. So what we're doing is we're going from a half moon to a full moon. Very, very simple, very, very easy to do. Like I said, I probably should start out with the full moon. Anyway, I think the full moon's going to be a little bit more spooky looking. And that way, if I want to, I can go in with like a black eyeliner and put in a little bat, which I think would be really fun, especially for Halloween and, you know. And, so what are your ideas? What do you all think about this style of painting? Do you all like it? Do you all think I'm just totally lost my mind? Or what? Ooh, I kind of like that. Kind of looks like a crater. Okay, so I'm just going to close the moon up some. We're going to blend everything in. Oh yeah, there we go. And remember, the moon does have craters on it, and the moon is not perfect. And since it's got craters on it, I don't have to do a whole lot left to it. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the idea about doing that as a full moon. Now, because I did that, I'm going to go back in with the multi-stick from Wet and Wild in the white, in the glitter. And I'm just going to go around the outside of it, because remember, at the very end of this thing is all going to blend in together perfectly smooth, you know. And doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Perfect Circle, they're a good band. If you haven't heard of Perfect Circle, check them out. Maynard James Keenan from Tool, it's one of his projects. And so yeah, so there we go. Alrighty. Now, for the fun part, we are back with the OFRA. Mainly because I just want to highlight a lot of this. See? We're just going through with a quick little highlight of everything. There we go. And like I said, this will all blend in together. And remember, it is the moon. The moon is not... It's perfect to look at in the night sky. But it does have craters on it, so it's not exactly perfect. So it's okay. And if you're looking through a telescope, a lot of telescopes, it's a good telescope, you can tell the moon is not all white or all yellow or all one color. It's a multitude of colors, and that's the beautiful thing about it. You know, I'm just cleaning up the little palette here because I'm still using it. So you know, I like the OFRA. The OFRA is a good one. So yeah, so now we got a full moon going on. With that being said, I am going to take a little bit of the glitter on my hands. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to use this right now. I know what I want to do. I want to use this other Medusasmakeup product on it. That will make it look even better. Okay, so we have the Medusasmakeup 01. This is a pigment glitter, basically, is what I would refer to it as. And so when you put it on your hands, and it's almost like a gel, and all I'm doing is I'm going in just different little spots here with my fingers. I'm not using sponge or anything like that. I'm just using my little fingers just to add a little bit of a texturized depth, because it is a glitter. I mean, it's a glitter, and so I'm just going through and I'm just using a little bit of it around some of the edging parts, some in the middle, a little ways, just to add a little bit of a. It actually looks like little craters if you do it with your finger, and that's kind of the look I want. I want it to kind of look craterish, like the moon actually looks craterish. So I do want it to look a little bit of a craterish like. So that was Medusasmakeup. This is 01. This is the gel. It's a creamy glitter. Creamy glitter pigment is what I would consider it, rather than just a glitter. So it's a creamy glitter gel glitter in 01, which is white. So as you can tell, you see, all I did was I went through, I added a little bit of a see, all I did, see, so now it looks kind of craterish with that glittery on it, which is what I was going for. If you're wondering why I was using that, that is the process. All I did was take my finger and dab it around. Next up, for the moon. It's almost like, how sparkly do we want it? How white do we want the moon? How much more do we want to do before it looks kind of crazy like? So I am going to use another, this is actually one I've already used before. I just need to get it. And I'll be honest with you, these little flat brushes like this one here that I just used for the OFRA, I use these for painting. I don't even use them for makeup. So, mainly because I'm not sure exactly how to use them for makeup, but I know I use them for painting. So, I just want to let that out there. So, I'm just going to take a quick brush, and all I'm doing is I'm just going around. I'm just blending in a little bit around the edges here and up this side so it doesn't look so stark. And remember, sometimes the moon does look like it has like a little bit of a halo around it. So if you just blend out the edge a little bit, that'll give you that effect. And that's what I want. See, it's got like a little bit of a halo effect. I'll probably use that later, so I'm going to set that brush right here. Going back and thinking about the moon and thinking about different phases and everything, you know, what colors project on the moon. I actually have a couple of things over here, and I don't know which one I'm going to use for this area. I'm just going to be using both. So the first thing I'm going to be going in with is something called Disco Drip. This is from Voss. This is a beautiful palette. This is actually one of my very favorite palettes ever. And great for music, great for festivals, great for anything like that. And I'm going to go in with this little blue and this little green down here. Now you're probably thinking, blue and green, the moon's not blue and green. Remember, this is the art, okay, people? And we're not going to do a big old crazy thing of blue and green. We're actually going to be using two old brushes of mine. And one is extremely thin, and it's also double-ended. The other one is just a thin brush. So we're going to use some of the green. And we are going to start in the middle. And we're just going to do that. Just very, very lightly. Just to add a little bit of greenness to it, you know? Almost like a little swirl. And more of that. See, that's all we're doing. And we're just kind of making it in like a little bit of a swirl. And that's all I'm going to use of it. Okay? I just wanted enough. And then you can actually take another brush that I've used before. Just do a soft little dusting over it. Just a little bit of a dusting. That's all. That's all I'm doing. I wanted to add some depth to it, and this is the best way to get the depth part going and make it look more texturized. So now we're going to go in with the blue. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do the blue more on the outskirts of it. So, and I'm only going to do one side of it. See, that's how we're doing. And as you can tell, it kind of shadows it a little. So you get a little bit of a shadowy going there in green and a little bit of shadowy on the outside in blue. And yeah, so that was the Violet Voss Disco Drip eyeshadow palette. And we only used a couple colors, that's all it is. It's just enough to where it's fun. We're going to add a couple of other colors to this as well. This is going to be from NYX or NYX, however you want to pronounce it. It's the Ultimate Shadow Palette. I suggest this if you travel. This is probably one of the greatest ways to use color when you're traveling, is having a compact like this with all these shades in it, because these shades are rich and they are so pigmented. If you're going to any music festival and you're looking for really bright colors to take along, this is probably one of the best ones to, in my personal opinion, this is probably the best one to use, because it's all different and it's fun. Now, what colors we're going to use? We're actually going to go in with this yellow right here, and we're going to start from the inside, and we're just going to work our way out. And like I said before, this is just something fun. Now, as you remember, a lot of this we used a yellow color on it already. This is just adding a little bit more yellow to it and making it pop a little bit more in a different way. So it may not be showing up right away. And I'll show you a little trick that I'm going to be doing here in a minute that you guys are probably going to think I've lost my mind on. But when you see how and why I'm doing it, you will actually understand. Around the shadowing effect here too. And like I said before, I know it's been over an hour since I've been recording, but that's okay. I mean, this is a larger project. Like I said, if I would have chose a smaller canvas, if I would have had any smaller canvases, I probably would have used it to make the video not so long. But I'm okay with having a long video up. It may take forever to post, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. It's summerween. It's going into fall. So, as y'all can tell, when I dip into this, I get all this little bit of extra. So all I'm doing is tapping my palette to get it out onto that canvas. So now I can take this little one over here, and I can dot and blend in everything that fell out of that palette onto there. See? That's all there is to it. Ta-da! We've got one really oddly looking moon going on, but it does sparkle. It does look like it's got some good shadowing in there. It's got some good craters. It almost looks like a, what do you call them? The little rocks with all the different geode. Almost like that. But it's a moon, believe it or not. And you can use it this way now, or that way now, or this way now, or that way now. Doesn't matter. And I like it. I think it's a fun little project. We're almost finished. Not because of time, but just because of the fact that, you know, sometimes you can do too much. So, the question is, do we want to do a, actually, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to do a bat. What do I want to use? Maybe this one. Discover Your Magic. This is a realher Discover Your Magic black to pink lip gloss. The way this works now is you put it on and it'll turn pink. Now the fun part about this is We're going to use that. But we're going to use the woochie, another eyeliner. And we're going to do this as a bat. So you see, if we do that and put that pink around it, the black pink around it, it'll give it a little bit of depth. So we're just going to do a little bat. We're going to practice a bat because I'm doing it free-handed. So a bat is just sort of like a little bit of a... It's almost like an eyebrow. So if you can do an eyebrow, you can definitely do a bat. Something like that. So as you can see, it's just like a little eyebrow. So if you can draw an eyebrow, you can definitely draw a bat. So we're just going to freehand it on here. I'm actually going to wipe that off with my hand before it stains. So we're actually going to do a little bat, probably right... If I were a bat, which side would I go on? Probably this side. No. There we go. We got a little bat flying through the moon. So we're going to go over with this blackish pink. We're just going to go around the outside a little bit. Just a very little bit. And this is almost like a dotting effect, a dot effect to this. And we're going to do one side a little bit thicker than the other because the way the bat is going to be flying. Think about it, you know, the bat's not going to always be flying the way you want it to. And it'll give it a nice little shadow effect on there. So there we go. We got the little bat flying through the moon. A little bit of blackish pink in there as well. We're going to make the body a little bit bigger. A little black to there. Alrighty, so hello everybody. There we go. This is our little makeup painting of the full moon with the little bat. And this is fun. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. Like I said before, you know, I didn't know how this was going to turn out. I think it turned out pretty daggone well. Obviously, like, if you wanted to, like, clean it up some, you can always take the lashy doodle, go back in with a sponge and dot around on it, make it more dark around certain areas if you need to, you know. This was just fun, okay? This is not anything bad against any makeup product I've used or any sponge or anything like that. This is just fun, okay? That's all it is. It's a fun project that popped in my head that I would try it out. And, yeah. So, I hope you guys actually enjoyed that. I'm going to let that dry, the lip gloss on it. One final thing I'm going to do. So this is the Milk Hydro. This is actually a makeup setting spray because it is makeup. You know, and I'm not even going to spray a lot. I'm going to spray it just like that. You see? Just to make sure it all sets. And that's it. That's the show. That's what today's art was all about, was having some fun, enjoying it, and making a fun little picture. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some ideas for Halloween, for cosplay, for music festivals. It's all good makeup. You know, like I said, if you got makeup and you're only using like a one color in like a 4-color palette, and you go to get that one thing is empty, but yet you don't want the other colors, this would be a fun project for it. It's not meant to be overly, if that makes sense. It is meant just to have some fun, you know. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'm sorry that it was such a long show, but the canvas was big. And yeah, so if you guys have any ideas for me, I may do another one, maybe closer to Halloween, something. I don't know. I may try to figure out something. Maybe a sunshine next time is what I'll do. Something bright and happy with makeup, just to make you all happy. You know? I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, this is a fun project. This is nothing that is going to be like big over the top. This was something I was curious about because of a comment that was made to me, and that's how I got my inspiration for it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching.